When you ignore small things, it can lead to major disasters. We're about to show you one such incident. The film begins in the year 1969. Paul is taking his girlfriend, Iris, to show her a surprise gift. He brings her to a certain spot and asks her to stand still. Then he removes the blindfold from her eyes. Iris is stunned by the sight in front of her. She is standing next to a sky restaurant about 500 feet high, and it had just opened that very day. Both Paul and Iris were really excited, although Iris was a little nervous. She had never celebrated anything at such a height before. Still, they head inside together. Meanwhile, outside, a boy is seen tossing a coin into a fountain. A guard stops him, saying it's bad luck. The boy hears him out and walks away. Paul and Iris step into the elevator to go up. It was a pretty long elevator ride. The hotel staff seemed overly excited. Inside the elevator, everyone looked cheerful. The lift operator starts explaining all the features of the place. He also mentions that the restaurant had actually been ready for 5 months. Something about his tone felt off, like he was hiding something. Iris started feeling uneasy, as if something bad was going to happen. Inside the elevator, she even thought about turning back and going home. She had a strange sense of approaching death. Soon, everyone reaches the top. Paul walks over to the hotel staff to ask about their reserved table, but they tell him there was no reservation under his name. Paul is upset and returns to Iris. The two start talking. Iris was still feeling uncomfortable and out of place. The restaurant was loud with music and dancing. Suddenly, a staff member starts opening a bottle of champagne. The cork shoots up and hits a chandelier. A piece of the chandelier breaks off and falls to the floor. Down below, everyone was too caught up dancing to notice the falling glass. Where it hit the floor, a small crack appeared. The building joints started to creak slightly. Too many people on the upper floor. Iris then meets a singer who was dancing there with her son. The woman tells Iris, "You look pregnant." Iris confirms that she's 2 months pregnant but hasn't told Paul yet. This was also part of why she was so anxious that night. After saying goodbye to the woman, Iris goes up to the top floor where Paul is. They were now at the very top. While chatting, Iris ends up proposing to Paul. Paul is surprised, and that's when Iris reveals her pregnancy. She was afraid he'd get angry, but instead, Paul is thrilled. He slips a ring onto her finger. It was a bit tight, but Iris accepts it happily. Meanwhile, the same boy from earlier is now on the top floor, excitedly throwing coins downward. The guard warns him again, saying the coin could hurt someone below. The boy ignores him and keeps throwing coins. One of the coins gets caught in a fan. Back in the restaurant, Iris and Paul were dancing with everyone else, unaware that the crack in the floor was getting worse. The coin from the fan shoots out and hits a pipe. It bounces off and gas starts leaking from that spot. Everyone, including Paul and Iris, was enjoying the dance, completely unaware of the danger building around them. But while dancing, Iris suddenly feels something strange and steps back. Just as she moves away, the glass floor beneath her shatters. In an instant, several people begin to fall from the 500-foot-high restaurant. Iris tries to save Paul, but he falls and dies. Her dreams shatter, just like the broken glass. The building starts collapsing, and a fire breaks out. A woman catches fire as she walks right into the gas leak area. A loud blast follows, and the entire place goes up in flames. Iris manages to save herself and sees her singer friend, who is about to be engulfed in flames, but she had locked her son inside a box for protection. The fire spreads rapidly throughout the building, and all the glass panels begin to break. The building, which was already unstable at the joints, starts bending and collapsing, dragging many people down with it. Some manage to avoid falling out the window glass for a while. Just then, the coin that had gotten stuck in the chandelier earlier finally falls. It lands near a grand piano in the center, which then slides to the side and smashes into the window glass, killing several more people. Meanwhile, a few people try to escape using the elevator, but because of overcrowding, the elevator cable snaps and everyone inside, including the staff, plummets to their death. Some others try to escape using the stairs, but the staircase collapses halfway through, leading to more deaths. The only person who was still alive was the boy who had been tossing coins. He had made it downstairs and thought he was safe, but just then, the falling piano crashes down and kills him too. Finally, the coin returns back to the fountain where it had first been thrown. Iris was now the only one left alive. She tries to save the singer's son and manages to grab him, but as they try to escape, they slip and end up hanging off the edge. Iris was hanging on by the ring on her finger, but the ring slowly slips off, and both of them fall to their deaths. The scene now shifts to the present day. We meet a girl named Stephanie who keeps having recurring dreams about what happened to Iris and Paul. The dreams have been disturbing her deeply. While talking to her friend, Stephanie reveals that Iris was actually her grandmother, someone she never met, but she constantly wonders what really happened to her. The next day, Stephanie visits her father to get answers. There, she also meets her brother, Charlie. Their mother, Iris's daughter Darlene, had left them 10 years ago. Stephanie asks her dad about her grandmother, but he doesn't know much either. Frustrated, Stephanie and Charlie head to their Uncle Howard's house to speak with other relatives. When she talks to her uncle and explains the dream she's been having, he brushes it off. He tells her that nothing like that ever happened. According to him, Iris had gone crazy. She started locking people up and drawing strange pictures. Because of this behavior, her kids were taken away from her. People were afraid of her and eventually cut ties. He says it's possible Iris is still alive, but advises Stephanie to stay away from her. But Stephanie needs answers and refuses to back off. She gets an address and travels to the isolated place where Iris now lives, far from the city, in a kind of underground bunker. When Stephanie arrives, Iris asks for identification. Stephanie shows it, and Iris tells her to come in, even without a key. Once inside, the two begin talking. Stephanie eventually learns that the dreams she's been having weren't about something that already happened, but something that was supposed to happen. Iris explains that she had seen it all coming and had managed to save everyone at the time. But over the years, all those people had slowly died one by one. Only Iris had survived because she had cheated death and locked herself away from the world. Now she tells Stephanie she wants to give her a book, so Stephanie can try to save the people who are still alive. But Stephanie steps outside the house. Iris knew that if Stephanie went outside, she would be doomed. So, to prove her point, Iris follows her out. And just as she steps outside, Iris dies instantly. In the next scene, Iris's funeral is taking place. By this time, Darlene, Stephanie's mother, has also returned. But Stephanie isn't happy to see her, since Darlene had abandoned her during childhood. The following day, Stephanie is at home, while the rest of the family is at Uncle Howard's house for a party. Darlene arrives there, too. Some family members urge her to rejoin the family, but Darlene doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. Meanwhile, at home, Stephanie is reminded of Iris's words. She starts looking through the book Iris gave her. It describes the restaurant accident in great detail, along with several other incidents, including a plane crash. Seeing this, Stephanie realizes something terrifying. Death is hunting down the survivors, one by one. Back at the party, a piece of glass falls into an ice bucket. Some kids are seen jumping around nearby, and Darlene scolds them and sends them away. Stephanie now understands how death is working and rushes to the party to warn everyone. At the same time, a bottle falls on a water pump, which turns the pump on. Water begins to pool and flow toward the lawn. The piece of glass falls into the grass. Howard unknowingly steps on it, slips and falls. Nearby, some gardening tools also fall. One of them hits the grass cutter's switch and turns it on. The mower starts moving and goes right over Howard, killing him instantly. Everyone at the party is left horrified and in tears. The next day, after Howard's funeral, Stephanie reads the book more carefully. Inside it, she finds a name, Jenny. She starts building a family tree, writing down the names of her relatives to make sense of the pattern. She realizes that she and her brother were supposed to die in the plane crash, but Iris had saved them. In fact, death was targeting not just the plane crash survivors, but also their family members. Howard, the oldest in the family, was now dead. Next would be his children, Eric and Julia. Then Darlene, followed by her children, Charlie and Stephanie. When Stephanie tries to explain all this to everyone, they start thinking she's crazy, just like Iris. This deeply upsets her, and she begins to feel the same isolation Iris must have experienced. That night, Eric is working at his tattoo parlor, creating a tattoo in memory of his father. Suddenly, some music starts playing, and items fall from the table, including a bottle of chemicals. Meanwhile, a chain near the ceiling fan snaps and hooks into Eric's nose piercing. As he struggles to remove it, the parlor catches fire. Eric gets trapped inside. At the same time, Stephanie tells Charlie that she has to save Eric. They rush to his place, but fortunately, find that he has survived. Stephanie tells him to be extra careful, but Eric brushes it off. Julia arrives too. Everyone believes these accidents are just coincidences. While Stephanie is watching Eric, Julia stands near the road. A ball hits her, causing her to stumble and fall into a bin. Moments later, a garbage truck picks up the bin and loads it in. Despite everyone trying to save her, it's too late. Julia dies. The next day, the whole family is in shock. Eric is devastated. Stephanie tells him, anyone in our family could be next. Death isn't following a fixed order anymore. But Eric's mother reveals something important. Death is still following the original sequence. Eric is alive because he isn't Howard's biological son. Howard's first child was Julia, which is why she died. Eric is heartbroken by this revelation. Stephanie now realizes they need to save Bobby next. She tells them that the book explains how death can be cheated, but first they need to find JB, someone who holds a crucial piece of the puzzle. Darlene reveals reveals that JB works at a hospital. Everyone, including Bobby, sets out to find and save him. On the way, Darlene tells Stephanie that Iris was always terrified of death. She constantly worried about her children, Stephanie and Charlie. Eventually, they arrive at the hospital and meet JB. He explains that he is the son of the singer who survived the Sky Hotel disaster. Later, he met Iris, and together they came up with a plan to cheat death. JB had researched and believed that if someone else dies in his place, death could be diverted. However, JB says he can't help them anymore because he has cancer. Stephanie is now left wondering what they can possibly do. Meanwhile, Eric and Bobby head off to a different part of the hospital. They buy a biscuit from a vending machine, but it gets stuck. Frustrated, Eric bangs on the machine, which causes a crack in the glass. He tips the machine over to get the biscuit, but a spring pops out from it. They enter a nearby room where an MRI machine is running. Because of the strong magnetic field, the machine starts pulling Eric toward it. A metal chair behind him also gets pulled in and slams into Eric, killing him instantly. Bobby survives for a moment, but then a nurse opens the door and the glass panel on it shatters and slices through Bobby's head. He dies instantly too. When Stephanie and Darlene hear this, they are devastated. They now realize that death cannot be cheated after all. Darlene tells Charlie to go straight to Iris's cabin, thinking he'll be safe there. They both leave. Just after that, we see the same coin again, this time picked up by a woman. Stephanie is speeding in her car. She crashes through the main hospital gate, breaking a cable that starts sparking dangerously. She gets trapped. She urges her mother, Darlene, to get out and leave, believing that if Darlene survives, she might too. But just as Darlene moves ahead, the pin of a nearby gas cylinder falls off, causing a huge explosion. Stephanie's truck also falls into a water-filled ditch. She starts drowning. Darlene dies in the blast. Charlie arrives and rescues Stephanie just in time. In the next scene, Charlie visits his dad's house. Meanwhile, a woman is seen shopping near a railway track where that same cursed coin falls again. It becomes clear everything that has happened was somehow linked to this coin. Later, a doctor informs Stephanie and Charlie that they had both passed out but miraculously survived. It was just a coincidence. They all sit and talk for a while. But as Stephanie and Charlie are discussing things, a train derails because of the coin on the tracks. The two of them run to escape the oncoming train. After running a short distance, they think they've survived. But then wooden debris from the derailed train falls on them, killing them both on the spot. And with that, the movie ends.